Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the collective. My name is Salvador, and this is. Damn it. That is not. Whatever. It's Knocked Loose. It's the new album. I already forget the name of it. I'm really sorry. You won't go before you're. You won't go before you're supposed to. That's the name. That's the album. I'm not gonna cut out this intro because I'm tired and I want to go make food. um, this is the new album by Knocked Loose. Um, I just filmed a reaction to this. If you want to go look at that, go ahead. If you don't, that's fine. It's uncut, so I'm not gonna be chopping up anything. So if you want to go look at that, feel free. That should be up by the time this is up because I'm gonna upload that first, anyways. So I went into this pretty open-minded. I don't tend to like a lot of modern metal. I like a lot of metal. I like a lot of rock. I can definitely vibe with some of the heavier stuff. I love Gojira. I love Strapping Young Lad. There's definitely some heavier stuff I can, tolerate, for sure. I'm not opposed to heavy stuff. But when it comes to this genre, the subgenre, I don't know what it is, to be honest. But you have this, and you have, Wormrot, I think, is the band. Iron Lung, White Glove Test, Boundaries, like art, music like this where the songs are very short and they're changing all the time. I think it's post-hardcore. I don't know. Point is, I don't tend to like this stuff a lot, but this album, people are suggesting for album of the year, and it's been getting some really good reviews across everyone. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. This could be really worth it, and I don't think it was worth it. I just don't think that at all. I feel like from listening to it, maybe people are liking the way it supports expectations, because there is things I'm hearing that even with my very little knowledge on this genre in general, there are some things that make it stand out from other albums in this genre, like the vocalist I can pick out from any other band, which is good because they usually tend to sound a bit of the same. The vocalist is really good, by the way. I'm surprised he can sing that high, that distorted, that powerful for that long consistently. But that's also one of the bigger issues I have with the album, is that because that tends to get really bland very fast, and his vocals were impressive at the start, and then became really boring near the end. But yeah, so like with the vocals, with these weird tribal elements here and there, with these, I don't know if they're tribal instruments or like football clappers, but they had these, things that sounded like tribal instruments of some kind, here and there. That was really cool. I can definitely see where people will be saying, compared to other albums, it's good at subverting expectations or something along those lines, but I don't think an album should be inherently a good album if it subverts expectations but can't stand on its own. I feel like on its own, it's not super great. Like, I expected to have the parts be moving around a lot, and they're not gonna sit on riff for a long time. And you can make music that is like that, where it changes that much, But the problem is, usually, to make that music good, you have to then make not one catchy melody or riff, but like 10 or whatever per song. That's a lot harder to do, right? Some bands can do it and nail it every time because they care a lot more about songwriting. I'm thinking a lot about Dream Theater songs, Rush, maybe, even Gojira, but they're not transitioning that much. If you're going the complete other side, Cabarrio's album Super Key Generator, it's a speedcore album, which I've yet to listen to in full. I'm going to reaction to that later on. But that one is a lot more noisy and chaotic and changing just as much as this is. But all the individual parts are really good on their own. And a lot of the parts are really, I don't know, they're dull. They're not doing, there's very few parts that are completely generic and boring with your standard, one bass snare, two bass snare, one bass snare, two bass snare. Like you're not getting that a lot, which is good, It's not too stereotypical and tropey, but there's still a lot of parts that are they're not super engaging. Then you have a lot of parts that are pretty good, but there's not really any riffs or choruses or anything that really blow me away at all, you know? So I can say is that this album's really entertaining, and maybe live has way more impact, but that's about it, you know? I feel like actually some of the more creative moments on this album, like in songs, I don't never know how to do this, but I can't remember. Um, like songs like, you know, the calm that keeps you awake and some other stuff towards the end of the album, you know, I feel like have some really cool, interesting parts. But then in the same song, they have equally bland and uninspired parts. And I feel like that's intentional because I've done it with songwriting too myself. Where I'm writing a song and I go, well, I have a part I want to put in somewhere, and it's a really cool part. And this song I'm writing now, it's not coming across too good, and it's kind of uninspired, and I'm kind of relying on tropes and, you know, bland or, you know, instrumentation. So what I'll do is I'll just put this really cool part in the same song, so it kind of offsets it. And I feel like that's what they're doing with songs like the one I mentioned before, which I can't remember because I'm stupid. The Comet Keeps You Awake. I think that was the one. Maybe it was Slaughterhouse. Maybe it was Slaughterhouse 2. I don't know. Anyways, yeah. So I feel like they're doing that sometimes. I think the first half of the album is where it started off promising. The first 3 or so tracks, because those, again, like there's very little parts that were below decent. A lot of the melodies and rhythms were pretty good. They weren't offsetting you too much, but then as the album went on and the vocals got more stale and the sound was kind of just getting overdone to me, and they're having less and less interesting parts. You had some parts that were more creative, but not necessarily catchy and engaging. And I feel like the album really lost its steam as it went on. I feel like it could have been a lot better if you would have had some difference in the guitars, because you just have the same, you know, guitar tone going like the same, you know, 000 chug, and they could have easily had some, you know, tritones or some kind of riffs in there, some kind of melody to make it, you know, just that little bit more engaging. Some of these riffs probably pop even more, but they just didn't, you know. I can appreciate this album has its own sound, like definitely, like again, like the tribal parts and, you know, just the mix of it is pretty consistent. There's not really any songs that sound out of place. I don't, for the life of me, understand why Moss Covers All and Take Me Home are 2 separate fucking songs. I don't understand it, because with a lot of them, they're not doing an album where every track goes into the next. You know, it's not a Birthday Massacre album. It's not a Pink Floyd album. You know, whatever. You know, there's not a lot of that. But when it comes to Don't Reach For Me, which clearly segues very obviously into Moss Covers All, you know, with the same musical parts at the end. And then you have literally in Take Me Home, the lines Moss Covers All, and the exact same parts as in Don't Reach For Me, is Moss Covers All. I don't know why it's not just one song. Make it one song. Why does it have to be 3 songs or 2 songs? Like, one of them, like Moss Covers All is 47 seconds. Why? Why does it have to be a standalone thing? And it's not like it's let's say a Tool song, right? Let's say with like Lost Keys and Rosetta Stone, right? Lost Keys is kind of, it's an intro, but it's long enough and intricate enough that it can be its own song, you know. It's not designed to be listened separately, but it could be. For this, there's no reason to cut this off from Take Me Home. I don't understand it. There just isn't a reason to do that. Like, they don't get anything from doing that except for except for splitting the song into parts. And it's not like it's a suite in any progressive music or classical music. It's not like it's a part 2 of something. It's broken for no reason. I don't understand. And I don't know, man. There's a lot I can praise about this album. There's also equally enough stuff I can complain about, and a lot of those complaints are basically a lot of those complaints tend to detract from the good parts as well. Like I said, the vocals are cool, but on the other side, they're stale. So by the end of the album, they're really fucking boring and they're not cool by the end, you know. So I feel like I don't know. I'd give this album like a 5 or a 6. I would say a 6. It's very hard to play. I can appreciate that, but also like I mean, art shouldn't be only valued by comparison. Like I said at the start, I shouldn't have to compare. I shouldn't be like, oh well, it's certain expectations, so it would be a 6 on its own. But because it's doing something not like everyone else, it's a 10. No, that's kind of dumb. You know, if it's really talented and hard to play, you know, then sure I can appreciate it. But like, if you're not like Dream Theater is hard to play, but they also write good songs. You know, they you know take pride in their songwriting more. You know, especially in their earlier mid stuff, right? So then, like, you have songs that can be this complicated and this technical, but still sound good. This, you know, the mix is good. It sounds good, right? But songwriting wise, it's very bland and it's not really enjoyable to listen to. You know, it's entertaining for the first half ish, but then it goes downhill really fast. And if it's just technical, again, I can appreciate it, but that's it. And go, oh, that's cool. You can play really fast, you know. You can play really technical. And then that's it. There's not much else you can get out of that, you know. So I don't know why people are suggesting for album of the year. I really don't. I don't think it's worthy of it, you know. I don't think it's a bad album. I just don't think it's as good as everyone is saying that it is. I'd give it a 6. I think a 6 is generous. But that's just because I feel weird giving it a 5. That feels too low. 6 feels too high. But I'll just say 6. Because like I said before, there's a lot of good things I can say about it. But, you know, they just kind of, you know, get, what's the term? Not nulled, but they get canceled out by the end. And that's where the 5 comes in. That's going to be it. So yeah, if you want to if you want to subscribe. I do try to cover music that is more, that for whatever reason isn't really getting the attention it deserves. So I try to cover some more artists, albums, bands that, you know, definitely could deserve some more attention. So if you wanna check out some music, that's definitely worth it, and that's definitely interesting and different, and definitely underrated. You know, check out my other reviews and reactions to things. I try to listen to things more unbiasedly. I'm also gonna start writing my own music. I have a lot of stuff in the back. Actually, you can see I got my my guitars and my bass and my drums and keyboards and blah 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 blah. So if you wanna I'm going to be doing it all myself. So if you want updates for that, subscribe as well for that. And that's going to be it for this video here. I'm going to go make restaurant quality eggs because I am good chef and I am hungry and want food and tired. Bye.